Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Cat Waterflame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran, Terra, Shadowfront. I am John, your game master for the evening. I'm joined this week by William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Valdez Stonebeard, the Dwarven Samurai, and I'm trying not to die right now because Nikki just murdered me.
And Cody.
I'm Cody. I'm playing Ithram Valar, Hobgoblin War Wizard.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Titania Valkorian, Eladrin Druid Princess.
And Aderyn.
Hi, I'm Aderyn. I am playing Carolina, a barbarian human.
And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I'm playing Gent Minar, the half-elf spellslinger.
And Jeremy.
Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm playing Ariel, ASMR gunslinger.
And Nikki.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki, and I'll be playing Scuzz, your goblin.
and with that particular order of introductions, I created a pentagram, and thus the ritual is complete.
Finally!
Yeah,
what took you so
We
goddamn
are
long?
finally ready to ascend. Or descend. Or whatever.
Whichever.
Let's go. We could just,
It's
yeah,
a pentagram.
sideways.
It's protection and safety. That's literally.
I
what
mean,
that's
really,
right now.
at this point, going to hell is really kind of a lateral move.
I would
anyway,
love to summon
but-
the devil to just destroy all of corruption in mankind at this point. Just etch a sketch.
Whoa! Something
It's-
was really staticky there for a minute, and I don't know
Something
what it
was super static.
Yeah.
No.
That was weird.
That was the man.
That was the man just like, we
They're listening- they're
we're
listening in.
So maybe pentagrams are not the best idea, even if they looking for safety.
I'm just saying, if somebody randomly you see like hands come, like dark, like black clawed hands come down, grab someone and pull them up
Please.
off screen.
Please,
My
It's
internet might
John's
cut out.
fault.
There's a big storm outside,
Please.
so who knows?
please.
I mean,
Blue
I mean,
hands.
the pair of hands coming in. That's a
They're
core Adele move.
They
Deal
are
with it.
the hands will be gloved in blue because 2x2 hands of blue.
2x2 hands of blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hands of
Anyways.
blue. Okay, yeah, we can do
Now
that.
that we've jumped around many different topics, to the one that we're here for, which is D&D. When last we left off, the Steelhearts left Titania's grandfather and grandmother's home in Ilhanador in order to, and were set back via a fairy portal, which is just a doorway to Terra. Well, most of them. We'll get to the one that didn't make it in a minute. But first, you are all presented with an individual sitting on the doorstep of the Steelhearts thing. Apparently had been sitting there for a little while, who jumped up and declared that Uncle Gent had changed his hair. And also, there he is. Scuzz, you are holding a plate that has one cream puff on it.
God damn it.
That is the true fucking tragedy of this whole thing.
Gent is hiding behind Ariel.
My character is lost outside of reality, potentially permanently, and the true tragedy is a lack of cream puffs.
Yes,
Good to know.
Yes.
yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No
I don't
offense.
disagree, for the record. I just want to put it out there.
Yes.
Yep.
There's
I'm
important
sorry.
plot stuff that's gonna happen, but Scuzz is sad. Just
What?
like caption, Scuzz is sad.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you just said? I just want to hear it again.
Which part?
Just the words that you just said.
You did something with your hair, or what did you do with your hair?
No. Okay, you did miss a part. The
Oh,
uncle.
Uncle Git, there you are. What did you do with your hair?
Thank you. That kind of thing. That kind of amusement should be enjoyed at second time.
So you're Gent's niece.
So,
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Gent.
Hello.
Is there something behind me that's important?
Why? What?
Family trees happen, Gent.
You didn't tell me you had a sister. Hi, I'm Titania Valkorian.
I don't.
I'm not his
Do you
sister.
have
I'm
a
his
brother?
No.
Technically, my father was against cousin, but
Oh, okay.
Remove niece.
Got
Okay,
it.
yeah.
elves.
Congratulations, you have a cousin again.
You need to come
Yes.
home.
Fuck no.
Language.
You need
Why-
to come
What?
home.
What?
Why does he need to come home?
Because there's something wrong with Aunt Dianave. Or Dianave. I think
Sorry.
Dianave is how you pronounce it.
Dianave.
Dianave,
Yeah.
that one. Your pronunciation guide was not super clear.
Sorry.
How about
All right.
some
And
details?
She sort of looks at the group of you and then looks at Gent, like trying to figure out how much she's allowed to say.
everybody shut up. We're going inside.
Where's Carolina?
And at that notice, we shift our perspective. Carolina, you are standing in what appears to be a completely wrecked library that is sort of like the mix between a library and a church. Like in sort of if somebody were to take the design aesthetic of a church and compose that around a library. Complete with stained glass windows, which are currently shattered, and through which you can see a starscape.
There's something out there which is maybe better than nothing, maybe worse. Cool. Okay.
It's very cold.
I'm gonna burn a rage and smash something that's near me.
You smash an old lectern that was already mostly broken, and just reducing
I'm
it
gonna
further.
see-
It is very
Does
cold.
anything weird happen?
It is very
due to the
cold in
rage?
here. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
hang on, that's right. Hang on.
It's in chat.
And a beam of light lances out from your chest and destroys a bit of wall.
Shoot out a Tony Stark laser.
It's very cold. You're sort of seeing your breath as you're breathing. And there
What? Murder. My charges. Stupid fucking grandfather. Also because he's an archfey. But primarily because Titania would probably be upset.
there's a pair of doors.
That is all said aloud for the record.
There are a pair of doors that you don't remember being there. On the far wall.
I'm looking to see if any of the arcane stuff, especially like spell scrolls, spell books, magical spell items are intact.
No, this seems like anything that might have been intact just isn't there anymore. The only things left in this place are ruin and decay. It seems like this place is just falling apart.
That would make sense. Shit. Okay. I guess I'm gonna climb up, see if I can see out one of the windows.
Very easily. You sort of stack up some bits of rubble and climb up to one of these shattered stained glass windows and look out. And it seems that this building is floating on a rock in an endless void of stars.
I'm not using my dubious knowledge feed at this time, make a guess as to what plane or demi-plane this might be?
Give me either an Arcana or a Nature check.
Let's go with Arcana. They're the same, but natural 20.
You're definitely on the astral plane right now.
Great. That's not great.
This is the astral sea.
Worse. It could be a lot worse, but that is not great. I assume with the natural 20, I know that.
Oh yeah, no, it could definitely be worse. You could be on a plane where there wasn't air. There is at least air here.
Oh. And potentially pirates. Like, the astral plane is not entirely uninhabited.
Oh no, the astral plane is very inhabited.
It's just not inhabited by anything I want to run into.
I mean...
Cool. I don't want to be here. I'm going to take my chance with the door. I don't have an astral plane ship.
You go and open the door. It leads out to the rock that the island is on, or that the building is on.
Fuck you! You can at least go somewhere convenient.
It's literally just the front door. You just never noticed it before.
Never noticed it or wasn't able to access it.
Potato, potato.
No.
There is a dock. This island seems this seems to be an island, not just a floating chunk of rock. Amidst the astral sea.
Is there any ship at the dock?
There is a boat. Yes, there is a ship at the dock.
Cool. I'm gonna go see if I can fly an astral plane.
Give me an Arcana check again. This one at disadvantage.
Fair. $13.
So you run into a couple of problems. One, you don't know how astral ships work. Two, there seems to be missing key components like a wheel, a mast, any form of propulsion. It just seems to be a boat floating in the air with nothing evident as to how it works.
Does the wheel look like it's been ripped off?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to sit down and ritual cast Identify on this boat because I have that prepared for completely unrelated reasons.
Sure. It identifies as a boat.
Okay, it's not magic. It doesn't tell me a keyword.
You do know that you don't know much about astral vessels. You do know that specific parts of them are magic and not the whole thing. And so it's not just that. It's not just that it doesn't just, there's not a keyword that you can just say to make it go.
Yeah. Fine. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go search through the rubble, see if there's anything that might be useful here.
All right. Give me an investigation check.
I also put together where the boat is from in the broader Final Show Films universe. I would be pleased with you if I wasn't marooned.
For people that aren't familiar with our broad category of Final Show Films, we ran a Ravenloft game in which a Gith Yankee got yanked from the astral plane into Ravenloft and brought his wheel with him.
Oh yeah, that asshole.
Because he was in the middle of piloting a ship when he got yanked into Ravenloft.
Yeah, so 20 with the investigation.
Looking back through the library, most everything seems to be destroyed. You do find there is a chamber below the principal room that you started in. You go down into it, and it seems to be some sort of scrying facility of some kind. It is a large open chamber with a circular platform in the middle of it that you walk upstairs to. In the middle of it, there is a crystal sphere, and surrounding it on the wall, there are several different mirrors, that most of which are broken, save one, sort of scattered around the room.
Would there happen to be exactly 13 mirrors?
Yes.
Do I have a suspicion of what these mirrors might be?
I mean, they have like designs around the edges that are reminiscent of specific animals, and the one that's left is like reminiscent of a snake.
Animals and a scale and a pair of twins.
Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah. Well,
great.
Two fish,
cool.
You know.
Okay, fair enough. Great. Well, go up to my stupid mirror.
You can't actually reach it. It's separate from the platform. It's like on the wall, and the platform's in the middle.
Right. Okay. So I'm not sure how you're ruling the spell. Would identify on this orb potentially give me information, or no, it's a piece of an environment, so
potentially
definite.
It could potentially give you information.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and cast identify on the orb / the structure, keeping in mind that I am an artificer, so identify is like how work a little more given the way artificers cast.
After you finish ritual casting it, you determine that this sphere is some sort of translocation beacon. It's putting together information that you're gathering from the identify spell and a couple of good guesses. You imagine that this is a way to maneuver to and from this library for the people that these mirrors are attuned to.
Well, I'm gonna have to hope that mirror got attuned to me.
And this is another
early.
This is another one of those. This is another one of those rooms that you don't remember being here.
Yeah, no, because I definitely would have tried to use it a lot if I knew it was here.
Yeah.
Great.
So you just sort of instinctively put your hands towards that sphere and pour your ether into it. And as you do, the sphere lights up. Where do you think about?
She's being really careful this time. She's trying to think about the yard behind the house behind the
company. Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, back on the material plane.
Yep.
Titania has just said, "Where's Carolina?"
Yeah.
It's a really good question.
Look, she was right behind us.
Gent is actively shoving people bodily with all of his +3 strength and proficiency in athletics into the front door.
Okay.
Hold off.
You have
hold
to
off with
unlock
my-
it first.
With my also +3 strength. Hold off. We need to find somebody first. Somebody
I'm
might
not
still
lost.
be stuck back at somebody's place. Somebody's
And-
relative's place.
She might have just
At the-
stopped and
At the end of that
wanted to
sentence,
talk.
there is what sounds like a lightning strike in the backyard of the Steelhearts Company house.
I'll go
Oh.
find that. Valdez
Is
opens
that
the door and
you?
goes.
Never mind. Now we can all go inside, I'm sure.
Aderyn is like being pushed up against the door, which is currently locked. It's like, do you want me to unlock it or do you have a key?
Valdez unlocks the door.
Cathian!
Wait, hold up a second. You're saying that if it was locked, you could just unlock it yourself.
Yes.
I like this one. Let's go in. Your niece is quite nice.
She's not my...
You know, the person who is your niece, who is your blood relative, who is related to your cousin, who you are related to. He's quite
Gent
nice.
punches Carolina in the shoulder
I
as
mean,
Ariel.
What?
Ariel in the shoulder as physically
a hand
hard as he
rips
possibly
through the
can.
astral plane.
I really like the idea.
My fault.
I really like the idea that Carolina pays for Ariel's sins.
Can you get to the yard from
Yeah.
outside? I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
you can
the
go.
layout
You
of
can
the
go.
house.
Yeah, there's an alleyway you can go around.
Valdez cuts through the house to go straight to the backyard.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna curve around to the side to see.
I'm burning a
That was-
second rage because I still have some.
Sure, go ahead.
He's gonna be
which
angry.
will probably go
Love
up
it.
immediately as you guys get there, so that's gonna be fun.
Go off, sis.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you know what that looks like at the moment, and you're not actually holding your weapon right now. So, oh, I know what that looks like. So never mind. So, Carolina, you're in the backyard. There is a scorch mark on the ground around you, and in your hand you are holding a small crystal sphere. It's very similar to the one that you were just channeling through, but this one's much more portable and not attached to a pedestal. And it is currently sort of has shadows weaving around and through it as you're holding it. Which is what Titania and Valdeth see as one comes around the fence and one comes around the door.
Oh, there you are.
Shadows that are leaking out of my tattoo, probably.
Yes. Just leaking out, coming up your arm, and then into the...
You didn't.
Whoa!
A little bit detoured.
You could have just gone through the fireplace. It's very
I
impressive, though.
Did, Lady Titania. And no, we're not talking about what happened.
Okay. Gent's niece has
Niece!
shown up, and
Niece is the appropriate word.
Ariel, if you keep
and we're
doing that,
talking.
I'm going to punch you, and it will hurt.
I'm gonna go inside at this point.
Well, I hope all of you have a lovely family reunion. Please let me know if you require escort to whatever harebrained scheme we have next, and the next relative that's going to banish me to the one place I never wanted to go back to.
The rest
And
of us
I am
ended up-
going to my fucking room.
All right.
Because that is the closest Carolina can manage to polite and civil at the moment.
So I didn't have a punch attack, but I would just like to say that Gent crit Ariel in the shoulder.
That's amazing. So I took.
You just
so I
shove
took-
her bodily into the hedge, and she's stuck
So I took
there.
5 damage, correct?
Yeah, so yeah, two plus
Yeah.
your strength mod.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 5.
Yep, right, yep.
I accept this. She does not fight back. She knows she deserves it. She regrets nothing.
So,
Heading inside.
except for Carolina, you all get inside. You realize that
Yep.
it seems like the various individuals of the housekeeping team are all out at the moment. Which, I mean, given the fact that you guys weren't expected to be back for another day or so,
Yeah, totally
makes sense. But
Oh, thank God they're not here. We can go and we not have to worry about a fire or something. They can take their time. Go on.
so, but you are all inside the unlit house of the Steelhearts Company at the moment.
Who wants to drink?
Me.
Gent slams the door.
To be clear,
Yes,
are you old enough? To
I
drink?
have a family. Yes, she's old enough.
I'm 25.
Okay.
I have a family.
Wanted to
There
make sure.
are other people. I'm technically related to some of them. One of them acknowledges me. Maybe two now.
I mean, others.
I don't know why
others-
that's changed.
Other people acknowledge you. It's just not in the way you want them to acknowledge you.
Yes, other people acknowledge me as something to be kicked under the stairs.
I mean, yeah,
Why?
because he's a half elf.
Do you have a lightning shaped scar?
Oh, that sort of fuck off.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
I could give
That's
him one
okay.
if you want.
Fuck turfs. Anyway. Sorry, that seemed relevant to what was being alluded to. Sorry.
I like the idea that Scuzz just says things without knowing the context of
I
the
mean,
things that he
Scuzz will punch
says.
a cop. Scuzz is
I just-
ride or
I
die
just-
for y'all.
I just like the idea that Scuzz just says things with no idea of what it is that he's saying.
No, he
Right.
absolutely knows exactly what that is. Scuzz is an absolute ally. If anything exists in this goblin's brain, it is that.
Anyways,
So,
Something's wrong, though.
What's going on?
she looks at you and then looks at the others again, waiting for permission to speak.
Just spill it out. This might as well happen.
So something's wrong with Aunt Dianave. No one else believes me because weird daughter of the family. But something's wrong, and you're probably the only person I could think of that would believe me and go check on her. They won't let me check on her anymore because alchemists and artificers
yes.
are not part of the glorious Minar wizarding heritage. Just
Yes,
because
well,
some of us use magic in different ways.
All right. Yes. So I'm going to have to sneak back into the estate and what? Look at my mother?
She's everyone thinks that she's just traumatized because bad things happened and you're the fault. But she hasn't been eating or speaking. And she hasn't starved to death. Something is wrong.
Yes.
Like,
No, that's.
Like something is magically
And
wrong.
looks around at everybody.
Ariel looks at
Have-
Kent. What do you need?
And has time stopped around her at any point?
Not that I'm aware of. But she's non-responsive, so
Well.
if something,
how long has this been happening?
I became aware of it when I got home from the guild a few months ago, but people have been saying she's been not right since, and she sort of indicates to Ghent.
Yes. Well, I was hoping to have other things in place, but this might as well happen.
What do you need?
And Gent takes a couple seconds to think. We're going to stable. No. We'll take it with us. We're all going to the high tiers. Everybody, you're going to get to meet my family.
What family? I'm
Not
so
like that,
excited.
Scuzz.
Okay, not. Okay.
Are we just going to talk our way in, or? Yeah, I
Yes.
can help with that.
Yes, we are.
And what is our disposition going to be?
We are going to go check and make sure my mother's all right.
Of course.
Scuzz will
Follow
eat
your lead, darling.
the pastry.
You eat the
A
pastry.
last cream puff.
Yeah, he's like,
You
I'm not gonna waste this.
You eat the last cream puff off the plate.
Yeah.
What
Is
what time of
delicious.
day is it?
What? Wait. Sorry.
As it is delicious.
He puts the plate in his bag. He will keep that for later.
Because we had just had dinner in Ilanador, right?
Yeah, in Ilanador. It's dusk.
All right. We're going in the morning.
Can I stay here?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll show you to a room, dear.
Oh, Uncle Gant, are you still fiddling with gun things?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Can I see yours?
What? Which one? And both of them come out.
Which one do you care more about?
Holds up the magic one.
That one.
Hands it over.
I'll give you this back to you in the morning.
All right.
You are very trusting of your
Got a
niece.
workshop in there if you need space to work on things.
Oh, I don't need one. She pulls a cord on like the backpack strap that she has, and the sides of the backpack, if you remember from last week, which had like three wands attached to them, open up, and 4 mechanical arms just sort of extrude out.
Yep.
Whoa. Cool.
And she smiles.
Do your friends call
everyone.
you Liv?
This is Aderyn.
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 Yeah.
This is Aderyn.
Oh, I especially like you now.
Aderyn, this is Ariel, Titania, Valdeth, Skuz. Carolina went upstairs. Ithram. These are who we'll be working with.
Nice to meet everyone. She has the grin of like a 12-year-old high on pixie sticks.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Okay.
Wes.
Yep.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
I feel like she's the Is It version of Tiny Tina from Borderlands.
A little bit.
That's great.
It's because like, can I watch?
Sure.
I'm so sorry. It sounds like that, everybody. It's his voice. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I like technology. This looks cool. You have extra arms.
You're not making it any less that way.
No, it's not.
We don't have extra rooms in our house though, right? I think it's all
We all fill up. I mean, we got a couch.
I think we're yeah.
It's a comfy couch.
You also have an
If you
armory.
Go to the house map. That would probably help.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me do that.
Don't let this poor baby sleep on
She
on
can
the
take
like
my
the
room.
cot
I mean-
on the Tinker's room.
Somebody literally said, "Let me show you to a room."
Yeah.
Where are you showing her to,
yeah.
Ariel?
I forgot.
Yeah, she's probably not going to be using her own tonight, so she'll just show her to to. Sorry, that sentence was confusing as shit.
I'm assuming show.
Ariel
Aderyn
will
to
show
Ariel.
Adair to Ariel's room.
Okay.
There we go.
Ooh, neat. Everything's very tidy.
Yes, I do like to keep things organized.
I'll do my.
Scuzz has cleaned up his mess.
Scuzz cleaned up 94% of the mess he made last time. There's still some things that are not.
Yep.
Perfect.
which are currently like carefully, like subtly being pushed back into place.
Underneath the bed.
Just foot.
In the closet.
Yeah, you know what? There's definitely some things under the bed and in the closet. They're just like, that's not where that was supposed to go.
Fine, I'll find those later. So yeah. You need anything? I will probably be somewhere around the house. Gent, of course, will. We all will. Just yell for somebody.
She unfolds a miniature forge from her backpack onto the floor and sort of like cross-legged sits down in front of it. I'm good, thank you.
This guy sits down next to her and it's just like big star eyes, like, this is amazing.
Right, and turns and heads off.
There's an artificer infusion called Armor of Tools.
Yes.
Which lets you basically turn a piece of your gear into let you make a piece of your gear have any tool you need. This is how I interpret that applied to a backpack.
Fair.
Why not? Absolutely.
Gent, I'm just to let you know, I think I may be in love with your niece. I'm just saying.
I do want to note that in
Yes.
elf years, that makes her what?
Really young.
Makes her 25.
25.
Because elves mature at the same rate as humans, and then from there
And then
Until
stop. But
and then stop. Yeah.
yeah, I guess the you're a kid forever depends on the culture of the elves. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does look like she's younger than Gent, but she is older
Right.
than Gent.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gent's a
The
half
answer
elf
to
and-
D&D ages is don't worry about it.
That's kind of the
But
gist of
character
it.
is a player character. They have reached an age where you don't worry about it. Unless they're very, very old, in which case you might worry about them breaking everything.
like Cathian.
Cathian's not.
He's very, very old. Anyways. There is the sound of tinkering occurring in the bedroom.
Sometimes
Okay.
tinkering occurs.
In all seriousness, though, how are you doing?
This is a lot coming at me rather quickly.
Understandable.
My initial plan was to, kick ass, take names, get rich, look good doing it, and eventually march back there and demand a bit more respect. And I assume that was at least a couple of years off, and that I would have a lot more money on hand before this happened.
I mean, you already do those things.
So, just kind of reaches out and sort of awkwardly pats Titania on the shoulder. Acknowledgement.
Ariel's just pouring drinks for everybody that's in this general area right now.
Fair.
There
You gonna deliver one to Scuzz?
are a number of people
General area only.
that we will probably run into. My grandfather is sort of the current patriarch and the one in charge. He has a fairly low opinion of me.
How
My
much?
mother is
How much are we supposed to give a fuck about that? Like, and what I mean by this is how much holding of tongue are we supposed to be doing? Or can I, fire backwards?
Err on-
What's
err on
appropriate?
the side of diplomacy, at least on the outset, I would say.
Very well.
Is the low opinion simply a result of your heritage, or
Primarily, I believe, yes. I don't know who my father was, and he was not at all of proper social standing to have been my father. And that side of things has definitely fallen significantly on my shoulders.
Oh, fuck that news.
Agreed.
My mother was allowed to keep me, at least. And she...
Or generous.
I was behind closed doors, except for the occasional solitary appearance while growing up. And that was to downplay the stain on the family name by what my grandparents and tradition, I suppose, dictated as a embarrassment to the family with lasting consequences. So my mother went from a up-and-coming member of Terra high society to more or less a shut-in. And I believe her personality and psychology altered by that treatment.
As it would.
So yes,
For
that's
what
sort of where we stand.
For what it's worth, I don't know your exact situation, but I do know exactly what it's like to be shut away and kept hidden from the rest of the world because of the social implications of the accident of your birth.
Oh, yes, no, those parallels have occurred to me before. Different circumstances, but yes, quite a bit of overlap.
So, what are we going to do to arrive triumphantly, walk in, figure out what's wrong with your mother, and help? I am a princess. I've got some pull.
Which I think is honestly going to be our easiest way in the door.
Frankly, are they going to try and stop you from seeing your mother?
Probably.
At that
I mean, if
point,
I
is violence appropriate?
if I walked up there by myself, probably. Coming up there with the rest of you and Valdeth and Titania in particular, saying that we're not here to cause trouble, but I'm here to visit my mother, who I haven't seen in a year and a half.
I'll cause trouble. They don't.
I'm sure you will.
I've got spells I think that can help. If we go tomorrow, then I have time to prepare them. But I have a couple that can make one of you at least talk really good, better than normal. I've got one that's a little it'll get us past something really sticky, but it doesn't last. And then they might be angrier if they realize what happened. And actually, it wouldn't
probably
work
not the
because
best.
they're
move.
elves. Never mind.
Elves, charming.
Yes,
that whole thing.
Forgot about that bit.
As far as my family's pursuits are concerned, strongly into the arcane and martial pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't stab you very quickly, repeatedly with a long sword, then the magic comes out, and
They're a bunch of wizards.
yes, wizards and fighters primarily.
Wonderful. So what is we will approach with Tanya being sort of the entry point, and you obviously, but from what you're saying, mostly her.
Probably, I think Titania's rank will give us at least a more of a foot in the door, other than my face. then there's a pause, and he kind of reaches up to his cheekbone, and you're getting the idea that his face has hit that door a few times too, and that's fun.
Um,
I'm going to enjoy once we're done with this. Sorry, inside thoughts. So
In the back of your brain, Ariel, Esme just goes, we could always seduce one of them and then leave them a broken, poor shell of a man.
always gotta
afterwards.
be that. Always has to be your tactic, doesn't it?
It's fun.
Do we want to
Dimitri is
bring
not a
up
turn on for me. Thank you.
Nor for me, but leaving them broken afterwards is always just so
Yeah.
delicious.
So, anyways, contingency plan. What if, on the off chance that Titania is not enough for some reason?
Oh, then we
Bite our
walk
way
around
in.
back. We walk around back. I show you where I used to climb out over the wall and actually learn something about the outside world. And we, yes, kick ass all the way up to Mum's room.
Lovely. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so I'll have the other one still. Okay.
I'm gonna assume Carolina has just decided to start listening by this point.
There.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably from the top of the stairs or something. GM, I have the authority of a cop feature that I can never remember the name of because
Yes.
right. Legal authority.
Yes.
Keep your current political jokes inside. Hey, I'm not that kind of cop right now. To what extent
You're a
would
Geist.
that be helpful, or would I know where to go for a less potentially disastrous?
Let me take a look at it real quick just so I can get the wording.
It's in chat.
Du-du-du-du-du.
I assume the Ravnica part we are replacing because that's
Yeah, replace Ravnica with Taram.
yeah.
Du-du-du-du-du. And Azorius insignia with Geist insignia, etc.
Yeah.
You could use that to gain an audience with just about any house. Like you can, if a Geist,
Would I
if
be able to demand an audience specifically with Gant's mother, or probably not?
theoretically, yes, Geists have the power to interview anybody that they want.
Mhm.
They don't necessarily have the power to. They Geists are the oversight authority. They are not the enforcing authority. So, like, Geists don't arrest you. They send the guard to arrest you. But they can
But if
interview
I'm
anybody.
In an investigation, I
Exactly.
could say, no, I need to speak to this.
Exactly.
woman."
Yeah. Your authority as a Geist allows you to interview just about anybody you
So,
want. The only
really
people that
no
it doesn't
problem.
really, the only people that authority doesn't really reach are members of the royal family.
Which is not an issue from what Gent has said
No.
so far.
Yeah,
No,
right?
we're a step or two down from.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
From
the
the
Menars,
actual-
the Menars are
If
nobility, not
ladies-
royalty.
Tanya's offer of a civil conversation and your own familial ties are unable to secure an audience, I can just demand to speak to her. If this is related to the magical event surrounding the group as a whole, well, it is within my purview to investigate given my assignment.
That's a very good
We
idea.
could even start with that if you'd prefer to avoid family.
That's generally not something that should get brought up a lot, though. It's
I think we'll
something-
use that as our fallback, but yes, I think that might be helpful.
Yeah.
I think we'll go socially first and then officially second.
Sounds good.
Whatever. So as a reminder, we have another appointment in a few days.
2 days.
Yes.
2
Yes,
days.
we do.
Okay.
2 days is in day after tomorrow, or
As in day after tomorrow.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna go outside for a bit. See y'all later.
Farewell.
The more
I will-
hungover you are, the harder it is going to be to present as a princess as worthy of the demands you are making.
Thank you. I know.
I don't think that's a concern, Catalina.
I would argue that that might make it more believable, depending on people's experiences with royalty.
If anybody needs me, I will be upstairs transcribing this.
You have everything you need for those, Ithram?
I have enough to get the materials that I will need to test and write what I need. But yes,
Very well.
thank you.
Ithram says,
All right.
I'll be in my bunk.
Yep.
I'll be here drinking. Hmm.
Sounds like fun.
I will keep some water with you.
Mal
Appreciate
stays down there with Gen. just sitting on the back of one of the chairs.
No one else is home, so Valdeth makes sure to fill a ewer of water and bring it down
Ariel's
too.
Two or three glasses in, Gent's gonna see if he can get a hawk to drink wine.
Caroline is probably also drinking.
It's a lightweight. That's all.
He is.
Oh, Gent just
Gus
wants to make
isn't
sure
here.
that Gent just wants to make sure he gets at least 2 or 3 glasses before the hawk drinks all of it. Mm.
That's
Okay.
Didn't we acquire several barrels of wine recently?
just one very large one.
Ah,
Yeah, a hogshead of wine.
chill.
Yeah.
Or was it? No, it was a butt cask, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Titania,
Yep.
where you going?
I'm going out in the garden,
Mhm.
basically.
You see this big, large scorch mark where Carolina arrived, which is now represented on the map. If anyone wants to take a look.
Oh, okay. That's not okay. Well, I'm gardening. Honestly, she's stressed out, and that seems like a good idea.
Stress gardening.
Yep. So I'm
Make a perception check.
okay. Sorry, I'm also looking up spells because switching all my spells over. 16.
All right. You notice. Hang on a second. You notice 2 things.
Okay.
One, you notice what seems to be a rainbow light show coming out of Ariel's bedroom. Just like all manner of colors of light just coming out.
And not the usual kind.
Wow.
Ariel does not strike me as the sort that announces pride with bright colors.
Depends.
Secondly, you notice in the pig sticker's backyard, across the
Okay.
alleyway, a small rose golem thing, like a small rose homunculi, tending to the garden.
Oh. Hi, I don't think I've seen you before. I wave at it.
And this little, it's like thorny stem splits into 2 legs with 2 more thorny stems for arms and a rose head. The rose head sort of turns, and it's holding this preposterously large watering can for its size. It's like up, turns, waves 1 thorny tendril, pours water.
I'm gonna speak with plants.
All right, you can speak with
Why
plants.
not? I have that spell. We're not doing anything else. Might as well. Just gonna cast that real quick.
Yeah.
As soon as I can find the button. There it is. Nope. Wrong button. Where is it? It's gone now. Hang on. I cast Speak with Plants at some point. It happens. I'll get it eventually.
You cast
I'll
Speak
put
with
it in the
Plants.
chat. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
You're new.
I've been here for a while.
Oh, I haven't noticed you.
Ding, ding,
Sorry.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. It's okay. I not noticed. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh. Well, I noticed you. So, hello.
Hello.
I'm Titania. This is Steel Hearts over here. How are the pig stickers?
They good. They out.
Okay.
Me 10
Oh.
plants.
Well, you're doing a very good job.
Thank.
Welcome. And I've got this up for 10 minutes. So, weird question.
Uh-huh.
Now that I imagine like half dug up the garden at this point. I don't know where I'm going with this.
What
but,
personality does the weed have?
Gonna start smoking because I have stuff.
It screams as it
And
cooks it.
no, I don't, because my grandfather has told me stories about things, and I don't want to do that.
Do not awaken plants and then smoke them.
No. I'm gonna try talking to the spores that are like symbiosing with me. Why not?
Okay.
I'm
Not a plant, it's a fungus.
I know, but we had this discussion whether it was a
I know.
animal.
This is the hardline biologist who's
creature
fucking
type
with the category.
Creature type.
Yep.
Creature type plant does not always mean plant.
It's true.
The spores see as you start talking to them, you sort of get like a speech jamming echo back.
Ooh.
Because they are part of you and thus reflect your own
Okay.
consciousness. So
If I do the symbiotic entity and they're kind of like farther away, does that help?
they continue to echo your own thoughts back at you.
Oh.
They don't seem to have
Okay.
any amount of sentience.
All right.
And so like speaking with them, there is no the only so speaking with non-sentient entities gets you less of a like it gets you an awareness of their senses and awareness of the things that they are aware of to whatever degree it is. In the case of the symbiotic entity within you and the spores that come off of you, that is your awareness. Everything that they are aware of is your awareness. So talking to them is just getting a feedback loop, basically.
Okay. Cool.
Gives you a little bit of a headache.
Yeah. All right. We'll cut that
That might
out
be
then.
the weed, though.
Yeah.
Legit.
I finished digging up the garden. How much stuff can I make in this thing again? It's like 10 gold worth of
10 gold worth
stuff,
of,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yep.
It's gonna take me 5 weeks or 5 months to make a healing potion, right?
With the amount of supplies that you can harvest from your herb garden, yes.
Okay.
Or you can just get a better herb garden.
I feel like
the plan?
smoking any kind of plant while you have Speak with Plants active is a bad idea.
I
mean, it only works on living plants according to the spell text, but
there we go.
Yes, but plants don't immediately die as soon as you pull them out of the ground.
They do when
These
you
have
start
been dried.
smoking them,
hide
though.
them out enough to smoke them.
Yeah.
You
I was
can't.
gonna say,
You
yeah.
also don't just pull a leaf off a tree and light it. Like
No, you absolutely. There is
Definitely not.
drying that is done.
Definitely not.
Granted, you still probably shouldn't because the plants around you might ask why you are inhaling the cremated remains of their brother. But
Also, if
What
I'm
kind
also
of
stepping on the
monster are
grass.
you?
I don't know.
if you're gonna go straight from harvest to prep, though, you're pulling it out and then like either drying it or grinding it, depending on the plant usage. And it's like,
Well, I don't think
You're
Titania.
killing the
I don't
plant.
think Titania is smoking the things that they are that she is harvesting at the moment.
That's
No.
fair.
No. All right. What am I gonna plant here? Well, I'm gonna attempt to grow some mushrooms here because it's real awkward going up and rooting around in body drawers all the time. So
What you're saying is we need some body drawers down here.
yes.
Give me
I don't-
a herbalism kit with intelligence roll.
Oh, that's gonna go great.
See how well you are at
I'm so happy.
planning
Yep.
out a mushroom farm.
Yeah. It's not gonna go well, folks. It just gonna go with that right now. Intelligence 5.
You have no idea how to grow mushrooms now that you start thinking about it. You're like, I've never done this. Steph's always the one that does it.
I know.
You start thinking maybe you should ask her to set it up for you.
There we go. Right. Okay. Well,
well, the first thing you need is a body.
Or a log.
Yep.
It's a type of body.
Well, I leave the garden half dug up. I go back inside.
Yes.
Little Rose Golem continues to tend the plants in the other field.
Probably immediately in the lounge is Valdeth making sure that Gent actually drinks water with all the wine he's downing.
Al has taken a couple
He drinks
sips.
water.
And
Excellent. Good for.
It's a
Good bird.
celestial spirit, so it's not a
Right.
real hawk.
Yeah,
He'll-
good.
he'll enjoy
good
it.
bird.
Scuzz in Ariel's room, you are not sure what you're watching,
I know exactly what I'm watching.
but
Thank you
it
very much.
is bright and multicolored, and those arms are doing a lot of work.
If you think Scuzz Multi-Buckets was in the Ezid College being a test dummy for a bunch of crazy things, you don't think he didn't see some crazy multicolored arm
Most of the time,
shenanigans?
the multicolored arm shenanigans end result in explosions, which is why this is confusing because there's no explosions here.
Okay, that's
There we go.
there we go. Where's the
there's-
kaboom? Where's the earth-shattering kaboom?
You're getting all the prep, but none of the payoff, and that's what's confusing.
I just imagine Scuzz just scooting closer and closer, waiting to see like when is it gonna happen?
When's the shoe gonna
Any
drop?
minute now. Any minute now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like that. It's like a dubstep
just-
song
just
that keeps
8 straight-
raising but never drops.
Just eight straight hours of foreplay. That's it.
No. I mean, yeah, no, he thinks this is radical. It's awesome.
Anybody else doing anything else tonight?
Drinking and sleeping.
Drinking and not sleeping very much.
Hanging out, keeping an eye on Gent, and finding a good place to crash since I don't have a room.
Means you can sleep in Scuzz's room since he's apparently in
Nope,
your room.
absolutely not. Ariel is legitimately afraid to walk into Scuzz's room.
You could probably use Carolina's room because she's not going up there tonight.
Or there's a
She
very
might-
thick carpet in the workshop.
That is
You've
also
never-
true.
If you've ever
And
been
it's
in there
warm.
before, you'd know it's not decorated, but there's nothing particularly messy or out of place either. It's just pretty Spartan.
That's fair. Yeah, she'll probably ask Carolina and then head up there.
Mhm.
No. You all get
Use her
along.
without asking first.
Yeah.
You all get a long rest of various semblances. Unless Carolina is legitimately not going to sleep, in which case Carolina would not get a long rest.
It's not that she's not sleeping at all. It's that she's not sleeping very much and is probably not going upstairs.
Yeah, but you get enough to get a long rest. Everyone gets a long rest. And in the morning, your long rest is punctuated by the sound of a gun going off upstairs. Scuzz finally got the payoff.
Damn it!
It's my cue.
You cannot resist, can you?
That implies that I ever had the ability to resist in the first place.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
As there is somebody running around the corner suddenly, in the half dressed towards. I'm assuming that she's ready towards her room.
Yeah.
With her gun out.
Yeah, Ithram comes busting out his room as well, seeing as how it's right next to his room.
Door opens.
It is what? Bang. Gent will be third then.
Valdeth, hearing the gunshot, waking up for a second, hearing footsteps going on literally all around her, realizes, like, dwarven memory kicks in. Right, she was tinkering with a gun. I'm gonna go back to sleep.
We'll get up and
over.
start making breakfast if no one is making breakfast already from the sort of housekeeping group.
So,
I mean, that sound might be how the Is It make breakfast. We don't know.
the door.
Yeah, like, to be fair, it's not like there probably aren't a lot of test gunshots that happen in this house on a regular basis anyways. It's just simply that yes, new person gunshots.
So the door slams open as three of you collide into each other, piling into the room.
Yep.
And in there, you see Scuzz, who was probably just woken up by the gunshot, and Aderyn, who has one of the arms coming out of her backpack has like a block of wood that you see a bullet in, holding it, and her actual right hand is holding Gent's gun. You then see the bullet evaporate. And she sort of turns the gun over, spins it. All right, that's done. Oh, good morning. And she grabs the gun by the barrel and hands it grip first towards Gent.
When Scuzz gets jolted awake by the sound of a gunshot, the first thing out of his mouth is, "I'm sorry, Duckman, don't kick me."
Right. Well, thank you. Should I expect anything new or different, I suppose?
Have a look.
He'll inspect the gun.
So the first thing you notice is that the chambers don't exist anymore. The cylinder is just solid and with runic carvings.
So how do I load this?
You don't. Just fire. Here, try this. And the arms hold up a target off to her side.
Gent looks at the non-existent camera and says, "Don't do this at home, children." And yeah, he'll take a shot.
Pull hammer fire.
No, 27. I'm still rolling at disadvantage.
It fires.
Well, excellent.
Your gun has been infused with the repeating shot artificer infusion.
Nice.
Which is... Hang on 1 second. This magic weapon grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it when used to make ranged attacks, and ignores the loading property if it has it. If you load no ammunition into the weapon, it produces its own, automatically creating 1 piece of magic ammunition when you make a ranged attack with it. The ammunition created by this weapon vanishes the instant after it hits or misses a target. if you really want to load a bullet into it, like you've got something special, she flips up a piece of ammunition that sort of spins around and catches it and hands it out towards you. Try.
I was going to say that is sort of important to what you do.
I mean, I could always just engrave the weapon as well, but yes. And Gent will close his eyes, actually, and go through his muscle memory movement of where
Loading the
he
gun?
would actually
Yeah.
load the gun. Yep.
It loads. Anybody watching, you see the solid part where you would normally load the bullet into just gives way as you push the bullet into it.
Fantastic. This is brilliant.
Jealous.
I mean, if you give me
Mine is.
a day, I can do it for you too.
If we had a day, darling. Also, it would be a little weird feeling like two of the NPC's rare infusion slots were being used for this.
You don't know how NPC artificers use infusion slots.
We'll get you one soon, promise. I just need to reach level 2.
All right, I believe we've got places to be today.
Oh,
Yep.
Uncle Gent, the house might be different than you remember it.
Well, I did sort of leave in the wake of a demonic invasion, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was some remodeling, or are you talking about something a bit more far-reaching?
So I know you didn't have the best interactions with our family. It's worse now.
Brilliant.
Like if I had to find a descriptor, I would say that my great grandfather was hollowed out and replaced with some sort of demonic entity.
Not outside the realm of possibility.
I was going to say, the head just sort of turns and looks at Ariel. Well, that sort of alternate approach might be crawling its way towards the top of the list.
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily like explicitly true, but he's not the same person that he was a year ago.
Well,
This is where the fighter starts to wish they had a little bit of paladin.
Well, we'll try. And Tanya comes into the room. She's dressed up. It's real fancy.
Yes, well, we do still need to all get ready because
all right.
we're going on a diplomatic visit at first.
Aderyn, are you coming with us, or are you going to...
Yeah, I'll come with.
All right, excellent.
She reaches into her bag as the arms detract and pulls out what looks like a gun, but doesn't have any of the right pieces to be a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got the L shape, and then it's got like a bulbous handguard that takes up most of it. But there's no like place for anything to be loaded in, and no very clear firing mechanism either. It's like in case things go bad. And she puts it back.
All right. Fantastic. Yes. All right. Well,
Valdeth
breakfast,
emerges,
wagon, horses, that sort of thing.
Valdeth emerges from her room in the full regalia of her armor, because she doesn't normally wear the entire suit because it's mostly for ceremonial purposes. But the extra bits include a much more ornate breastplate, which is covered in gems and sort of dwarven markings, and then also the helmet, which is styled after an ancient ancestor's face, including the giant beard as a neck guard built into the helmet.
Legit.
Dwarves.
Get that beard guard.
Protect the beard.
And looks at Titania. Looks at Valdeth. Fine, I'll wash my hair. And walks out of the room.
I like the idea that dwarven styling is kind of like Greek. So like where they
sort
just
of like pseudo Greek,
they
Germanic.
They etch in the detail lines and everything. So it's like it's this very voluminous, highly detailed beard guard. And then like underneath it is like the chiseled abs of the breastplate.
Yeah. With like the gems encrusted into it and like the dwarven runes carved across. And the face is as accurate as they could get to whatever relevant ancestor of the family line.
It just close.
That's what death masks are for.
And it does it opens from the middle.
Opens from the center, so it just flaps open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina is wearing fine clothes because I have a nice outfit. Which means Carolina's wearing actual clothes today.
You're wearing like your uniform. You got the dress uniform.
Yeah. We established before I have that.
Which the guy's uniform is mostly just like it's a long sleeve tunic in black with gold embroidery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Scuzz wears his poncho. It's the nicest thing he owns.
Are you wearing the new poncho or the other poncho?
The new one, the one that the elf.
I'm sorry, Nikki. This is really important to me. Is he wearing the little spinny cap?
He, of course, is wearing the spinny cap. It's amazing. It brings the whole outfit together.
Oh, a very nice poncho and beanie cap. Propellerini.
Ariel is in her formal dress, so to speak, formal outfit. She says, sorry, I know it's been said like 9 bajillion times, but what's her name?
Aderyn.
Aderyn. I keep wanting to say just Ader. Aderyn, darling. Would you? Is there anything? Anything else that we might not be expecting that might happen? Anything we should be prepared for?
There's a new they have new guards, which they didn't previously have guards.
You know who were they hired directly? Or are they through a mercenary?
I don't. It happened while I was away. All I know is.
Do they use the family colors?
Yes, they use the family colors for the armor, but you can't. They hide their faces. And they have a full face.
Oh, that's encouraging.
They have a full face mask, full plate armor, a variety of different weapons, and they don't talk. Like there's like a captain, there's like a guard captain that does all the like talking to people thing, but the guards themselves, I have not been able to get a single one of them to say anything to me. Which might just be because, again, so like I don't know if it gave you the whole spiel, but the Minar family is a proud tradition of wizards and warriors, and I'm an artificer, and they don't like that. So,
right. I gathered that much.
So
lovely. So it's entirely possible that. It's entirely possible that they are either just very quiet or perhaps not in the traditional sense individuals.
Possibly. I know they have magic on them. But the aura is very clearly been tampered with, so I don't know what the true magic in them is.
Very well.
Well, given that and also potential possession, if civil courses fail, instead of breaking in, we and just go up the chain a bit.
They're still interacting. They're still like interacting with the city and with other noble families and going to events and things. So I imagine if you've got a royal family member, they'll proceed. But
the scandal if they refuse to speak to a princess at all.
Yeah. I just don't know the full extent of what has changed.
Unless they're good enough to come up with an excuse for why.
Yeah.
Oh,
Be quite the scandal.
the lady of the house is feeling ill, and we don't want to. It would be inappropriate of us to expose the princess to something that could potentially. The rich are very good at keeping the poor and people that they don't want away.
Honestly, if you want my input, and she points at Carolina, I think a Geist might be the best option to go in with.
There aren't excuses for them to refuse a Geist, and even if they manage to salvage their social clout, or her allegiance is to the city and the royal family, not a minor noble house that might have someone of a sensitive disposition.
Yeah, and
But
Geist,
I will defer her to look at Valdeth's preferences.
and a Geist will be able to bring in, like, you might not be able to bring in everybody with you just because security reasons, but you might be able to bring in Ghent specifically.
I am interviewing this woman. I need collaborative information from other people.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I can demand meeting after meeting. I need to be able to ask the questions I need to ask.
So, yeah, no, I'll be there with you guys if you want me there. That's just my 2 cents. I think
That's fair.
I think I don't know what's going on or what's wrong, so I can't really tell you fully what to expect.
Right.
Well, at the moment, deferring to my preferences is currently deferring to Ghent's preferences, which at the moment has been expressed as.
Sorry, Jack, you missed this entire conversation.
No, I heard you guys.
Okay.
Which has currently been expressed as diplomacy first, and if that fails, official mandate.
Yes, but so we can lead off with the official mandate. Actually, and Ghent comes back in. His hair is wet and braided and like pulled back.
I can be diplomatic.
Yes, you can. No, I've seen that. If
Don't worry,
Aderyn,
we won't
if
tell
you're
anyone.
Aderyn, if you're thinking that the official avenue in with just a couple people is best, then I vote we get up to the estate. I'll show them where the easiest exterior access is, assuming that's still intact. And then the 3 of us will approach the front door and, tapping the link pearl, we'll shout if we need backup.
Oh, I can show you guys where my hideout is, so you can use that to lay low nearby.
Perfect.
Of course you have a hideout, because you're delightful.
Of course I have a hideout. Hideouts are useful.
John, I assume that I have some way through the mail system or something to let, I'm forgetting his name,
Koenig?
my supervisor know.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to shoot him a short message just letting him know this is where I'm going. This is approximately why, potentially related to these things.
Yeah.
I'm not really obfuscating anything from him, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they're very easy to get a message to him.
Standard procedure. If you're going to a maybe demon-infested noble house, you let your boss know where you went.
Unless you're the Dragonborn. But yeah, Ghent will check around and then get everybody set up and headed out.
Right. And as you prepare to go investigate the Minar estate, that's where we're going to take a quick break. So, those of you watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. We'll be right back. We're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. All right. So, you all head up to the... Are the Minars on the second or third tier?
Second tier.
Second tier? Yes.
Ooh,
Fancy boy.
home sweet home.
You head up to the second tier. This is the highest most of you have ever been in Terram. Titania is actually the only person who has ever been higher than the second tier of your group. You.
Am I allowed to be up here?
There is
With us, yes.
as with going from going from Nosha to the next level up, there is an even starker contrast between the third and second tier of Terram. The second tier has a lot more visual space than any other tier on the any other terrace in the city. It is populated primarily by mansions, massive sprawling estates, and each of these estates seems to have a significant amount of ground dedicated to just it. All the noble families that live up here at this high in Terram seem to have enough space that you could fit probably most of like you, the Pig Stickers, the Fishman's Hook, and a couple other company houses in their estate grounds. That's how much space is just taken up by the nobility in the second tier of Terram. It's very weird and very underpopulated. Like, walking through the streets, you wouldn't be surprised if someone told you no one lived here. Because you see nobody as you move around. And that's weird, and that's weird for Ghent and Titania as well. Normally there is some amount of movement around, but this is like there's never a lot of people because everybody's either staying at their estates or has business elsewhere. But there's still typically some movement, particularly because this is also where some of the consulates are. On the other side of the district from where you come up is where you have consulates from different nations. And so there is always some amount of... on the other side of the Royal Forest, which is also on this level. But yeah, there's no movement. It's almost barren.
This is weird. It's empty.
Right.
And
usually there was at least something ghostly.
I'll send Mal up in the air to see if we can get a wider picture and see if I see anybody from 100 feet up in the air.
Yeah, Mal sees people in estate grounds. Like, there are people here. And from the grounds, you can see some people, mostly like wall patrols on the various noble estates. But nobody really in the streets. Aderyn, leading the way, doesn't seem as affected. It's been this way for a little while, and she's just used to it. Sort of leads you towards the Minar estate. Ghent, the last time you saw the Minar estate, it was imposing but not ominous. It was just like this sort of overly elaborate elven stylings, which melded with the Tyrian style of construction, which is elven stylings in Terram typically involves odd shapes. They don't use squares. Everything is rounded or comes to a curve or things like that. Nothing ever has a hard edge on it. Now it is much more of a Gothic style. The walls have been redone. They're much harder edges, darker colors, different stone. The walls are much higher than you recall them being, topped with iron spikes. And you see standing guard outside the gate, there are these two individuals in the colors of the Minar family wearing this full-body plate mail and these they look like elven helmets. Elven helmets, similar to dwarven helmets, have features carved into them. But where dwarven helmets have like the Greek sort of super real representation, elven helmets have a more symbolic representation. So like they'll have like they'll have like winged helms where the wings of the helms are the ears of the elf, and like the eyebrows, like you'll have these sort of high eyebrows that are stylistically meant, like sort of stylistically rendered, both in order to provide additional protection to the forehead, but also to make the sort of angular features of elves even more angular. And so they're typically flat-faced full helmets. Sort of just standing there on guard with a pair of pikes.
Okay. Gent will fish into his shirt, pull out a necklace, unclasp the chain, pull the ring that's hanging from it off, and slip it onto his finger. All right. So, we're going to ask for the Lady Dianave, and hopefully go with that.
Let's get everyone to the hideout first.
Yes. Actually, yes.
The Minara estate is along the river. And in the second tier of Taram, the river has the most awkward stretch of any of the tiers, because normally the river has very clearly been directed, you can tell throughout the city structure, so that it hits most of each terrace. It's roughly half the districts in every terrace as it winds through. Because there are only two real districts in the second tier, the royal forest and the consulates, and then the nobility houses, it only goes through the houses of the nobility houses. So it's much of a more steep, sharp curve, and you can very clearly see where it drops off as it comes through the royal palace from the second tier. She leads you along the river, and then at one point where it seems like there's really nothing, she leans over the river and steps down into nothing, and you hear a chunk and the sound of gears turning as she then turns around and hops off the edge.
Oh, following that.
And if you look down before you hop, you see that a ladder has appeared that she has caught on to.
Jumps. Just look before he jumps.
Gent will swing a leg down and start climbing down. As Scuzz takes a header off the cliff.
Give us an acrobatics check, Scuzz.
He's gonna. Actually, no. I'll do the acrobatics check. If he fails that, then he's gonna activate his little beanie. 19. You
leap off, and then you realize your mistake. Quick enough to grab the ladder.
You realize your mistake. That's a thing that often Scuzz says, like, duh.
It was at this point that he knew.
Several points he knew. He just doesn't remember. Anyway.
Climbing down the ladder, you actually get into a small alcove that looks like it's been carved out of the side of the constructed riverbank. That leads into a small room filled with a variety of clockwork projects and experiments. It looks like it is very much the definition of an artificer's workshop, where there's just a few dozen half-finished projects that were never completed, all manner of weird tinker things, and then blueprints like plastered onto the wall. In the same way in modern times someone might put pinups or pictures of cars. There are just blueprints on the walls.
Gent will drop a hand onto Scuzz's shoulder. Now, Buckets, I'm going to be relying on you to protect everybody here. Make sure nobody touches anything that's not theirs. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
That includes yourself. You have to lead by example, you understand?
Okay.
Good man,
This guy's
Buckets.
never been a leader before. This is what are you doing?
Desperately attempting to do something preemptive.
Ariel just watches that whole thing with what can only be described as bemusement.
Aderyn pulls out a big broom, like a big, one of those long push brooms, and like clears out some of the junk really quickly. I haven't had a chance to clean up in a bit. Sorry. Just the clattering of gears. No, I'm good, thank you. Just the clattering of gears as things are pushed into corners, and there's a trough that some things get shoved into, and then shunted out to who knows where.
Well, this is nice.
Don't get your leg caught in there, by the way, she says, pointing at the trough. It's not very big. It's you'd have to be the size of Aderyn or Skuz, really, to get your leg caught in it.
Are we all going up to the door, or just some of us, or...
It's just me, and Carolina, wasn't it?
Unless anyone feels like they would have very strong insights other than the people with personal experience, less is better. So presumably, yes.
I mean, I'm fairly good at reading people, but I am also more than happy to stay behind if that is preferable.
But you won't be staying. Sorry, you won't be staying here in the dark, she says as she goes over to a wall and pulls down what seems to be like a crystal like pane, and then picks up what you as modern players would recognize as an RC controller, but you as characters would not recognize.
Mm-hmm.
She looks over, looks around, hands it to Ariel. The left stick is up and down, the right stick is left and right, and the button in the middle turns it on.
Noted. Thank you.
She turned it on.
Yep.
You hit the button?
Yeah.
The crystal screen lights up with a view of all of you. And if you turn to look in the direction that this perspective gives you, there is a small clockwork pigeon.
Fascinating.
She's giving you a drone with a GoPro.
Yep.
Oh,
Because
and
it's not a pigeon, does it have stability? Because like you put the camera on like a bird and its head doesn't move, so it's work with me here. I couldn't make this a joke.
The shoulder buttons, the right shoulder goes forward, the left shoulder goes back.
I feel like Ariel needs to just like make an intelligence save at this point. From our approach, does Gent think that this hideout is within Link Pearl range of the estate?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's just out. You figure it's probably just outside the walls of the estate.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Did you prepare your spell?
Yeah. And I tap Carol. Well, can I cast something on you?
Go ahead.
I cast enhance ability on you.
Oh, nice.
With Eagle Splendor, so you have advantage on charisma checks.
Good. Need that.
There's
I figured.
There is this as Titania casts the spell, you feel this warmth spreading from your core, and you suddenly feel very confident.
Got it.
Again,
I'm confident.
Yes.
is there something while you are inside? Do you plan on talking at all, or anything?
There will probably be some of that, yes.
I as well prepared this spell that Titania did. Mine is a little bit different, not as much plants, but I can do that or perhaps if you want to gauge your family's reactions, I can help
That
with as
actually
well.
might be even better.
Okay. Then, I will cast Enhance ability as well for Owl's Wisdom.
Excellent.
Yep.
And Gent will. I'm sure there's probably at least a few scraps of paper around here.
Oh yeah.
All right. Gent's going to grab a piece of paper and a quill or something and make a quick sketch of what he remembers the estate grounds to sort of be as an as a sort of like a brief map, and explain to Ithram, all right, this is where the second floor balcony is. You can access it from, there used to be a trellis and vines, or just simply stacking yourselves up and climbing. You'll probably have, I had stolen a key. I don't have it anymore, so you may have to break the window, but basically giving them an exterior access with as little exposure to where he assumes likely guard positions would be held.
Yeah.
And of course, everything's changed, so this might be completely useless, but it's something just in case.
Yeah, the particularly this route would take you over the back wall and thus over the gardener's shed. So it's like down the back of the state, over to the gardener's roof, and then over the back wall from there.
Are we going over the garden wall?
Yes.
Possibly.
I could also just reminder that I can come with not as someone visible, as something small in a pocket or whatever.
Do they have any anti-magic intrusion sort of things?
I would imagine.
you're aware
I would
of?
imagine they do.
Oh, does that not work?
I don't know. I don't actually know.
If we're trying to do this legally, we should probably raise the least suspicion possible.
Probably wise.
But I defer to Lord Valdeth's expertise.
I
But you're
appreciate how
back
that.
here for now.
I appreciate
There
how
is
that
definitely
almost
a
didn't
bit of
sound like it.
sarcasm to that comment.
I was gonna say, I appreciate how it almost didn't sound like it was said through your teeth.
You know, you keep saying that, and it keeps meaning the exact same thing. Anyway, I can't exactly provide advice from back here in a hideout, so use your best judgment.
All right, 3 of us go,
I-
and the rest of you keep listening in case we need to yell for you.
Yeah, I would say any additions to any plans that, if they go wrong, go catastrophically wrong, probably best not to add those. That's just my experience as an Is it, though.
Save your tiny and fast form for if you need to get to us quickly. How's that?
Fine. Yeah.
Let's go.
We'll call it, since that is the point where we will certainly be
I know.
going into combat, the Fast and Furious form.
Excellent plan.
I am climbing the ladder before anyone else has additions to this plan.
You should write that down, Ariel.
Already done.
Ooh, if you have like multiple variants, you could have it like the Fast and the Furious 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Although, to be fair, I'm not sure that the person who focuses their combat values on guns should be talking about Fast and Furious.
Oh no. Fast and Furious 2 would be too easy. It's too fast, too furious.
True.
That sounds horrible, and I will not be doing that.
That was out of character because I have left.
Okay, fair.
All right, yep. Gent's following.
So Aderyn also follows, mostly because she has to set the ladder back. Those of you that are in the hideout, as they get back to the top, and Aderyn puts her foot down and steps, and you hear that click and gear shifting. You watch the ladder actually turn sideways and slide into the side of the canal. So it's completely hidden from view. She then thinks about it and then drops down, like leaning over the edge of the canal. By the way, if you need to open the ladder from that side, there's a footpad next to the edge. If you look, you can see there's a little panel that is shaped like a foot.
I get
On
the
the
sense
thing.
a lot of is it accidentally trap people in their murder boxes.
Seems
This was not
very
intended
possible.
to be a puzzle room that would kill you. It just
It just
is.
Finally back from my 3
But
weeks of
is
taking a
it?
break. Oh God!
It's like you accidentally locked a bunch of assistants in your lab and forgot to tell them how to get out. So yeah, you guys, the three of you approach the main gate.
Well, here goes nothing, I suppose.
Yep.
And falls into step behind Carolina.
Walk up to the gate.
Aderyn is skipping, just like next to Carolina. Just
Have my badge just to one of the guards. Hello. Oh, I'm Caroline. I'm with the guy, Ace, and I need to interview Lady Denia.
The two guards turn and look at each other. They turn and look back and sort of lean forward towards the badge.
Hold it up.
They lean back, and one of them just sort of clenched fist bashes the side of the wall, and you hear a bell ring on the other side. They tilt their head slightly as they continue to watch you.
Mm-hmm.
After a few moments, a unhelmeted elven figure. This one, bright red hair, cut short and tied back into a warrior knot. Wearing the same kind of plate armor, with a helmet tucked under the arm, approaches.
Do I recognize this face?
Give me a history check. This is one of the family members that you wouldn't have been very closely familiar with.
16.
Yeah, you recognize this person. This is... Pull up my list of Minars. This is Garant. Garant Minar, who is a member of who, as far as you were last aware, was a member of the Tyrian Legion.
Okay. Is he another cousin?
Uncle a few times removed.
Okay.
Gent. And
Hello.
Honored Geist. Please, come in. And he opens the gate, sees Aderyn, and Aderyn. You wish to see Lady, Jack, how do you pronounce her name again? Thank you. You wish to speak with Lady Dianave. It says, directing it to Carolina. And this is regarding...
A currently ongoing investigation. Unfortunately, I am not authorized to discuss the details. We'll just conduct interviews.
He sort of gives you a look like he's trying to parse out what it is you're talking about. But you also...
I am being honest for what it matters.
You don't have to make a roll because it doesn't matter, because he has to listen to you.
Yeah.
But you get the sense that you've seen this before, especially when Koenig goes around doing interviews, because he has as your training officer, he has taken you to interviews. He will just stride in as if he owns the place, and he likes to put people off that way. You've seen this look before.
Yeah, Carolina's short and less aggressive, so it's less striding in as if they own the place and more like, you're gonna let me do this anyway.
Yeah. The understanding of the inevitable. Gives you a look. As you say, ma'am, this way. And he turns, gives sort of a sharp military turn, and strides off through the gate towards the main compound. The Minar estate, Ghent, as you remember it, the layout seems to be roughly the same, it's just the materials have changed. Like I said, it's gone from this smooth curves and no real hard edges to lots of hard edges all over the place. The grounds seem almost like they haven't been tended to in many months. The yard is cut short. What was once a auspicious garden and hedge has basically been completely cleared away. There aren't even any like benches. It's just open yard for open yard's sake at this moment. And it's a significant yard because you have a significant walk from the main gate to the actual estate itself, which is this large multi-level, multi-compounded manor, in which there lives currently, or at least as far as your last reckoning, about 3 generations of Minars.
Right. Love what you've done with the place. Whose idea was all this?
There is no response from the guard captain.
Okay.
He is in direct them as is my duty mode and ignore the 2 that are with them.
Okay. Caroline is actually probably also ignoring Ghent.
Aderyn mutters under her breath, "I miss the maze." Because you guys had a hedge mage.
Yeah.
Eventually, you get up to the manor itself, and as he opens the door, there are 2 more guards on either side of the door. He opens the door to lead you inside. You get this sense of cold. Again, for you, the manor was always, like, cold socially, but this is cold physically. Like, it's almost like the entire manor has been put on ice. As you step in. It's not cold enough that your breath appears or anything, but it's definitely... something is wrong, and you're starting to get the sense
there's a chill.
You're starting to get the sense of what Aderyn was talking about, how there's something is wrong here, and you can't really put your finger on what it is. You just have this underlying sense of wrong.
Okay.
Eventually, he leads you through the manor, up a story and back to the 2nd level, and towards the back end of the house, which is where your rooms always were.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anybody other than these masked guards and Gran.
Okay.
Though you do
that's unusual.
Though you do still see the family portraits all along the walls. Everyone but you, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Gathered around in various states of we're posing for paintings now because that's the thing we're supposed to do. As you get to the room where your mother stays, you see this fairly large, fairly well-maintained painting of her sort of sitting alone at a fireplace, looking off into the middle distance in the painting. The door opens. I will let you know that the lady is not feeling well, so if you could keep your interview time short, we would appreciate it.
It'll be brief.
Good. I will endeavor to get all of my information as quickly as possible.
If you need anything, I will be right here.
Head on in.
The door closes behind the 3 of you. And you're in the antechamber to get your rooms. They are mostly the same. In fact, eerily identical to how they were a year ago. And in the antechamber, you find your mother, sitting in a fairly well-appointed armchair, staring at a fireplace.
Lady Daniel?
This Ghent's mother is rail thin. thin even for an elf. Thin. The skin on her body is taut in all the various places that it gets when you become when you get to a certain age and a certain lack of weight. She has this almost iron cut jaw at the moment. This like hard edges to her jawline, and light red hair that just sort of hangs down, cut very short, towards the back of her head. No, her bangs have all been pushed back, and her eyes are just, and her sort of green eyes are just staring at the fireplace.
I'm gonna take a peek at her ether with my lingering magic, detect magic thing.
Mm-hmm. Her ether is stagnant. It's very similar to what you saw, or what you guys had sort of deduced was happening on the other side of the light wall.
Mm-hmm.
Where a normal person's ether is fairly balanced, though might lean towards one element or another, hers has all been mostly consolidated.
Mother.
There is no response.
To your knowledge, has Lady Durham had any excursions to the light wall recently?
Aderyn shrugs her shoulders.
Unless my grandfather had a very significant change of heart, she was rarely permitted to leave the house. He likes to hang the transgressor with my father over her and demand she remain here, where he can keep an eye.
You in fact, that's why that painting is by her door. You notice what's missing from that painting?
Yep, that'd be me. Can Gent just try an Arcana check, see if he can pick up anything in the area?
Sure, go ahead. And for what it's worth, Carolina, her aether has been solidified into ice. Mostly ice.
Does it seem...
Hey, that's a natural 20.
I'm frozen at all. I know I didn't see when our group had that happen.
No, it doesn't seem to be the same thing.
Okay.
No. At least not from the description you were given, which was that there was no visible change to the ether of people who were locked in time like that.
Right.
This is a very visible change to her ether.
I knew that what's his name had given us a description. I just wanted to match it. Sorry, Gent has a natural 20 to deal with.
Yep.
With an Arcana check, with a natural 20 Arcana check, something has altered her ether to the point where she is only barely her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That would be your best guess. There's no lights on. Nobody's home.
Right.
This is a body that is alive, but no processes are going on.
Right. It's like she's frozen, yes. You're absolutely right.
Frozen, literally, in this case, though. Do you have any knowledge of a particular connection between her and entities of ice magic?
Let's see. I can't think of particulars. And Gent is literally just going to cast his mind back to the night of the invasion.
You do recall that prior to that event, Alfenbar was an ice mage.
Okay.
Primarily.
That was the element that my uncle had the most affinity for in his magics. We're probably going to... Aderyn, can you detect curses, hexes, that sort of thing, if there's anything evident, persistent in either a location or on someone?
She looks around. I can try. I'm not really a curse breaker, though.
Even just if you can tell if there's one around. I'm not suggesting we just break this whole thing ourselves.
She reaches into her backpack, pulls out a series of tools and a wand, and begins tinkering with something to see if she can make something.
I'm gonna call upon my dubious knowledge to see if there's anything specific I could do in this instance to elicit more information
Sure.
magically or more detailed, because
Go ahead and give me a
this
roll.
isn't something I can do much with.
Yeah. An Arcana check with advantage.
12, so I may have failed, but I learned one true thing and one false thing.
So you're thinking about various ways that you could figure out what this curse is, and you come up with two ideas. One, well, if there was some sort of demonic, you still don't know what exactly happened that Gent keeps referring to, because I don't think he's given you the whole story yet.
He gave us a lot of it when we were being interviewed about Frozen Time, but
Yeah, but not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't. Maybe there was some sort of catalyst revolving around the incident that occurred that is causing her to have some sort of weird reaction. You could probably like take a blood sample and do probably some artificers could probably do some sort of scientific analysis to it and see if there's anything weird in her blood. You could also summon a demon and ask them. They tend to know a lot of things.
yeah.
That's
Am
also
I
true.
allowed to take a blood sample as part of my interview?
Not typically, but you know.
But there's a closed door between us and anybody who's gonna bitch at you about it. Should we call in backup? Tell them to come quickly and quietly. At least we would maybe have more resources for gathering information. Or should we go confront my grandfather?
If
'Cause
you,
that sounds fun.
Aderyn points to your link pearl. If they use the bird, they could probably get eyes on it, and if you could communicate, they wouldn't have to come with.
Fair enough. And Gent will put through a call.
All of your link pearls ring.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, we're inside. There seems to be some sort of weird magical frozen entity thing that's affecting my mother. Her aether's consolidated almost entirely into ice, and she doesn't seem to have any normal lifelike processes really going on. She's practically frozen. So if you at least want to get pigeon eyes on this thing.
Pause. Hold on just a moment.
It takes you a few minutes to figure out how to accurately fly this pigeon.
To be fair, I figured that in the meantime, I would have been. I mean, this is some Ariel's somebody who does tinker and work with things.
Yeah.
As for so I figure like in the ensuing time, she's been sort of like flying it around this little room a little bit.
Yeah.
To get comfortable with the control.
So yeah, but it doesn't take you too long to get used to it, especially
Yeah.
if you've been doing that. And you get the pigeon flying. Those of you that are in the room can see on this crystal screen what the pigeon sees as it flies out of the canal and up and over and towards the Minar estate.
Gent will do his best to give verbal instructions of this is the part of the castle you're going to want to come to, kind of thing.
Aderyn?
As that's happening, because I assume that'll take a few minutes, I'm going to use my magical tinkering to just do a few different sounds, a few different visual olfactory effects, see if there's any specific triggers that do elicit some level of response from her.
Yeah. You go through.
Because I can make various sounds and smells and
You run the
visual-
gamut as much as you can just like think of. Nothing gets a reaction. And as you're doing that, and as Aderyn is tinkering with something, the pigeon alights on the windowsill. It's currently closed, so it's outside. Those of you that are in the hideout, you're looking at a closed window, which Gent then opens up, and now you're looking at Gent's face.
Yeah. All right, so
darling.
here we are. And he'll sort of just turn and gesture to where his mother is seated, just staring at a fireplace.
Lie down, get a good position.
move over onto the
With
like
direct
mantle of the
view.
fireplace.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to that's looking from there can make an Arcana check.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Nope, I don't know what this is.
Natural 20.
There's my
so
boy.
many natural 20s tonight, guys. Jeez.
18.
Better than the number of natural ones you guys had that other day.
Mhm.
About what I expected to get.
Same.
Ithram, you're getting pretty much the same thing that Yent was getting. Something has affected her ether to the point where she is just barely alive. The rest of you, it looks like she's not eating. It looks like she probably hasn't slept in a while. Definitely some sort of magical effect is sustaining her. Likely the magical effect that is making it so she doesn't have to eat is the same thing that's making it so that she doesn't respond.
Any thoughts?
Do any of you there have access to the identify spell?
Yeah.
If you focus on her while you cast it, you may be able to see what effects she may be under.
Okay.
It is-
I will do that.
So-
Even
It is at that point that Aderyn finishes ritual casting Identify,
fair enough.
which is what she's
Actually,
been doing.
Carolina's also an artificer. I understand we're different subtypes, but I probably can tell that's what that spell
Oh yeah,
is.
yeah, you can tell.
I
Yeah.
cast it the same way.
Looking at how she's using different materials, but looking at what she's putting together, it looks like she's putting together some sort of a scanner with which to cast Identify.
Okay, so instead of saying okay, Carolina goes, that seems redundant.
As
Esme,
oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
any thoughts? Esme, any thoughts?
The only things that consolidate their people's aether like this are things that are typically feeding off the others. I would suggest that it's not an ice creature that did this, but something that abhors ice. If that's the only thing that they left,
It's a fire type creature.
I would assume.
Sounds like a parasite. Some sort of fire thing. At least that's what my other half is suggesting.
Gent turns towards the fireplace.
Weird. She's staring at a fire.
Right.
Visual clues.
So that could just be
House.
The scanner finishes and Aderyn sort of like presses it against Dianev's leg, like through the dress that she's wearing, and there's just like a beeping sound and a readout, and then a little bit of paper comes out the side of it, which she tears off and looks at. And looking over her shoulder, it looks like gibberish, specifically gibberish in Elvish, but she seems to be able to read it. She is under a curse, but it's not like a regular curse. It's like something's feeding off of her. Because she doesn't have a link pearl, so she can't hear what Ariel said.
Right, yeah. That's corroborates what Ariel was saying. And
The fire could very well be a conduit for it. You might want
Nexus
to try
sort of
dousing
thing?
out.
Gen's gonna look around and see if there's a basin of water or anything.
There is.
All right. Well, glances down. I always kind of did hate this carpet. Just chucks it full force into the fireplace.
The water instantly evaporates into steam. The fire seems unaffected.
Does that strike me as a magical?
Magic fire? Yeah.
I think we have
I
a
just wanted
culprit
to
here.
confirm it wasn't just like, oh yeah, you poured a glass of water into a large fireplace at a rich person's house. Obviously, it doesn't.
Yeah, no. This should, if it was a regular fire, that would have been put out.
Right. And as far as Gen's aware, we usually had regular fire.
Correct. Yes.
Right? Yeah. Well.
No, you just have every fireplace has an ever burning flame. You know.
Right. As the gun is
That-
coming out.
Considering the cost of the continual flame spell, that's exorbitant even for rich fucks.
Putting a hand on Gent's trigger arm. Do you have a way to dispel magic, or should we simply move on?
I think it probably be.
Yeah, if that question was asked over the
It's not being asked over the link pearl.
No.
It is. What I'm saying is, it is now by Gent. Ithram, can you dispel magics?
I do have that spell in my book, yes, and prepared.
I don't think this is the kind of thing that can be dispelled, Aderyn says, looking at the paper that she's reading.
Yes, if there needs to be a specific attunement. And
understood. Well, if there's more information to be gained by interviewing others in this household, I can attempt that. Or
I'm not overtly familiar, but this sounds like the kind of thing you want a holy person in for, the kind of person that removes curses.
Thank you for preempting me with your wisdom, Lord Valdeth. We could return with proper expertise, he said another time. I would counsel that one or the other is an available option.
I don't think we want to try to... She looks over at... Aderyn looks over at Gent. You felt that, right, when you came in?
I did.
I don't think we're going to get anything out of anybody here.
My concern is, how much time do we have? Yes, she doesn't look in good health.
I believe there was something said of whatever's leeching off of her is also sustaining her life, at least. So we may have a bit of time.
Indeed.
And frankly,
go ahead.
And frankly, if we do not have the expertise to do anything, it's rather a moot point in terms of preserving her. It may actually be faster to just come back with proper expertise.
You're not wrong. There is, certainly she's probably being sustained. The possibility of permanent damage the longer we wait. I don't know.
Very well. What would you suggest?
I would suggest you let me finish my sentence. I don't necessarily have an answer. I'm simply pointing out information so that Gent and Adar can make the ultimate call here, and presenting in case it hadn't been thought of. The idea that the quicker we can act, the quicker that any permanent effects can be minimized.
Indeed. Darren, unless you've got something else up your sleeves, I think we're sort of at the limit of our current resources, and we'll have to come back with something better to handle this.
No, the only thing I can think of is going to talk to some of the family that doesn't live in Terra, but that'll take a while. Because I assume, I don't know if this, whatever this is, she says gestures at the building, has spread beyond the borders of the city, but...
I believe we have the resources to commission a message spell for you. Let's go.
She packs up her kit.
Yeah, I'm making that decision actively, opening the door. I may
sorry, go ahead.
I may need to come back for a follow-up interview later, but if you would be so kind as to show us out for now.
Of course, ma'am.
Gent just rests a hand on his mother's shoulder for a second. Not really expecting any sort of response or reaction, but waiting just a little bit, just in case to see.
Nothing.
And then turns to follow.
Aderyn gives her a kiss on the cheek and follows.
Wish I still had a line on those fiend hunters. God damn it.
And
Those of
Gent
you
will
in the
make sure
hideout hear
to
Valdez mutter.
Gent will make sure to leave the window open so that the pigeon can leave.
The three of you are escorted out.
Thank you, Carolina. Your presence was exactly what was required.
Of course. GM, I have a question. Maybe Carolina doesn't know, but I assume this would come up in training. Do the Geist potentially have access to some like people with religious background that consult for them?
Each Geist has their own network of individuals. Koenig probably does. Koenig has his fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah, and especially within the circles of adventurers, he
Yeah.
probably knows someone. Okay. But there isn't like if you need a holy person and you're representing the Geist, you should really be going here.
No, it's like many Geists work with the the Church of the God Emperor, just because we're in the same city. But you have the discretion as an individual to determine who would be most useful for your task. Because
Support
they don't
your local businesses and religions.
mostly because from the Geist perspective, the people that are best equipped to solve problems in certain sections of the city are the people that are from that section of the city, not people that are from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Also, it's not like we arrest people. We're more of a exploratory espionage division in the first place. Which doesn't mean I don't want handcuffs with spikes on the inside, but they're not standard issue.
No,
I was gonna say, I think you know at least 3 people now that could probably make you something like that,
including yourself,
or including me, the artificer. Yeah.
Hell, Aderyn leads you back to the river, and click. You all, those of you that are in the hideout, hear the ladder come back out as they climb down.
So we need a fucking cleric or something, I think.
Sounds about right. I literally had a line on fiend hunters like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't keep track of them. Fuck.
I mean, do you know anybody that can keep track of them?
If there was, where was I when I ran into fiend hunters having a conversation?
It was a party Titania had taken you to. It was a showcasing of an adventurer that had come back from the land of Morn, and they had brought back with them a variety of things, including A, a fiend hunter, and B, an example of fiend hunter armor.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they say they were going back at some specific point? Or no?
No, they were
one of the attendees.
One of the attendees was the one. The
Gitterbald Darmus.
Yeah, Gitterbald Darmus was there. That's where you met Gitterbald, but the fiend hunter was not related to Gitterbald. That was the event that was there.
I know there's a fiend hunter in the city maybe right now. And exorcism in particular, dealing with things of unholy nature, which, based on what little we've heard, this sounds similar, is sort of their forte.
Inciting incident seems likely. Also, the fact that house is definitely haunted.
Yeah, vacuum.
The fiend hunters. The Fiend Hunters of Morn are a collection of various individuals who specialize in, as the name suggests, dealing with fiends of all stripes. So one of them would be a potential value.
Question for you, Valdeth. Is that a... do they utilize various techniques? Is it primarily magical, primarily blade and...
Both. It's everyone who's part of the Fiend Hunters is there to hunt fiends. There are people who wield magic, people who wield the blade, people who wield a mix of both.
Fascinating. All right.
The one,
Might have to look
the
more
big,
into that,
the
then.
big selling point of the Fiend Hunters that that you would know, Valdeth, being from Morn, is that many of them kill fiends and take their power.
The primary thing is they don't just kill the fiend, they siphon its essence out so that it can't keep doing what it was doing even after death.
And also so they can use that power to kill other fiends.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's certainly a
Interesting approach.
choice.
Anyone else have religious references? There's people I can ask, but nothing specific.
I know my way around the cult of Marduk in this city a bit.
Please, it's a fraternity of
can-
Marduk.
Okay. Sorry, I was thinking Warhammer shit for a minute there, and literally everything is the cult of whatever.
That's
Even-
legit.
Even if it's state sanctioned. But yeah.
My only one would be the Archbishop is someone I may have to talk to at some point anyway, so
Well, I mean, if we can get the Archbishop down here, he could probably clean this up very quickly.
I certainly have some contacts, not specifically religious.
How much an hour to hire an Archbishop?
In the back of your
Wow.
In the back of your head, Ariel Esme goes, there was this very cute cleric that we met the other day.
Which one was that?
The one in the robes that you could see through when they stood at just the right angle?
Would you stop? Valid point, but stop. But I do
out here being horny on Maine.
I do have, right?
Girl, same.
What god is she from?
Yeah,
I know exactly.
valid.
I do
Very valid.
have. Listen, you hunt enough human beings in this place for justice or revenge or retribution or the like, all for money, and you do pick up a contact or two. Also, I think if we can find a place to linear Athos, I'm pretty sure I can get them to be predisposed towards us. I'm just saying.
okay,
Any of
so
that works. I do think it might also be a good idea to at least try and send a message to your family outside the city, just to get a sense of the scope of the problem. But
I have some vacation months coming up. I could go out. I could actually just go there.
that also would work. It's up to you.
All right. We've got a couple of avenues to track down to solve this problem. And
Right.
a meeting tomorrow, so let's do what we can today.
I will be heading to the library to perhaps see if I can figure out, get some sort of lead on what type of creature to aid whoever we get to help us.
You all sort of see Aderyn's head just suddenly snap up as she gets an idea. There's an archive in Core that I could go to that has lots of books about really weird things.
I did not get to this archive. I wanted to get to it before I came here, but I could not make the trip.
If
yeah,
I could...
and my second, I
No.
don't remember numbers.
No, you're not going. You are free to go, of course, but no.
All right. Everyone who's got to leave, chase it down, I guess. I'll go looking for fiend hunters. Ithrim, do some research.
And the
Do
rest of
you
us will hit
want-
up the temples, I suppose.
Do you want help finding the Fiend Hunter?
If you want to come along.
I ain't got nowhere else to go. The only holy people I know aren't here, which is weird. Seriously, I'm
sure
starting to
there's
get really like disoriented with everything in my brain. There's too much in my brain for a goblin.
No, that's silly. There's never too much in your brain, no matter what you are.
There's
Okay,
never too much in my
I would-
stomach. That's the action.
Dis-
That.
Disagree.
Aderyn and Ariel, fundamental differences in ideologies.
Some
And in
things
lived
you don't-
experience,
I did lived experience. Yes, exactly.
I feel like Ariel and Scuzz both speak from a point of lived experience with
Oh,
too
yeah.
much.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, and Aderyn's also on a completely different axis.
Yeah.
Axis.
Okay,
Right.
so we split up.
Mhm.
Go ask questions.
Aderyn takes the controller back from
I
Ariel
have
and
an
flies
idea.
the pigeon back.
Just like perfect 8-point land.
All right, let's get to work. Do everything we can today. Deal with our meeting tomorrow. Deal with this in the best timetable we can figure out.
And break.
No, we already went one of those. So, you all leave Aderyn's hideout. She disguises the ladder again. She, as you guys are preparing to head off, she looks around, reaches into her back, pulls out what looks like a pouch from the bag, opens it up, unfolds it into a boat, and just sort of pushes it off into the river and hops onto it and sails down the river.
Yay, collapsible boats.
That girl
Best D&D weapon.
is the weirdest part of my family.
She's so smart.
The
From,
best.
from what
believe.
you said, you might be looking at the best part of your family that isn't you.
It's a very strange way to say best. But
Mm-hmm. I think you said the wrong word for best. Is it a language barrier thing? That
Just
happens
reaches
sometimes.
out and pats Scuzz on the head hard enough that Scuzz gets like driven a few inches into the mud.
From my
Like,
knowledge
that's
of
gonna
the
stop
Izzet,
him.
their primary directive is to out-weird everything around them.
Sometimes literally, because they make things called weirds, you see.
Oh, you guys haven't even met my cousin.
Nope.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
will
And
at one
walks
point.
away.
So, Valdeth and Scuzz are hunting for fiend hunters. What's Titania? What are you doing?
I'm gonna go try and find the Archbishop. I'm not sure if, like, based on Titania's experience, would it be better to go into the whatever layer that was directly and ask there, or like go through intermediaries and basically talk to relatives, because I'm already up here on this level.
Honestly,
Or to go down into is it Celeste?
honestly, you have no idea. You've never even considered talking to the Archbishop of the God
Yeah.
Emperor's Church before, so you don't
Okay.
even know where you would find them at the moment.
Okay, I'm gonna go talk to my.
Does-
I'll go say hi to my family
the-
and
the-
see if they know where to find the Archbishop.
the Temple District is as good a place as any to start, but you could also just start here.
I'm gonna start
Also
here.
want to point out druids are also divine casters, and your druids specifically deal with life and death.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could also
I-
talk to the Archdruid.
okay.
Just throwing that out there because Titania
Yeah.
doesn't have that contact if she'd see that as something to use.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure what Tatiana's knowledge of, like, whether that would be better going cleric wise for what has been presented to us.
You would
what's
know.
going on here,
You
'cause
you would know that. You would know that at the very least, the Archdruid would know where the Archbishop was.
okay, all right.
As you saw when the Archmage was talking to the Archdruid, all the Arch-X individuals seem to know of each other.
Yeah,
all the art. It's an arch thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll go down into the druids
Right?
forest
Arch.
again.
Arch General.
Gent, where are you going?
Gent is going to probably the Temple District, and just looking around to see, because as far as Gen's concerned, the clerics and paladins of Marduk are the adventure-y religious people. And he's just looking for who's the most effective adventure-y religious person I can find.
All right. Ithram, where are you going?
He's going to go to one of the bigger libraries. Oh, and he's got 4 hours of investigating it with magical assistance. So he'll use that up if he has to.
So you're going to go to... Well, that's the question. There are a variety of libraries. Are you going to Solaris, where the Medical Academy library would be? Are you going to the Weaveborn district, where you would find the arcane libraries of the Weaveborn? Are you going to the Izzet Academy, where you would find their libraries? Which library are you wanting to go to?
I'll go to the arcane one.
Or to the Temple District, where you would find religious texts.
Is the religious temple and how far away are the arcane and religious temples from each other?
The Temple District is in Celesti, which is the layer below Nosha. So you're currently in Day, which is the second layer. You'd have to go down through Lex, Cybus, Nosha, and then into Celestia to get to the Temple District, or just into Nosha to get to the Weaveborn Academy.
So he'll go to the Arcane Academy first, and then on his way after a few hours there, if he strikes out or feels like he's striking out, then he'll go to the one in the Temple District.
Okay.
Spend his last bit of time there.
Carolina, where are you going?
So I have a question I feel like Carolina would know the answer to. Do any of the local faiths exchange favors for followers? Like, oh, if you become a follower of us, we'll do something nice for you to start out.
Signing bonus?
Yeah, essentially. Signing bonus and selling my soul, but to a divine-ish.
Not explicitly, no.
Oh, that's inconvenient. Well, that was my first choice. Second choice is I'm going to head to the college in the Weaveborn district where we initially went to get examined about the being frozen in time thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few specific things I want to do there.
Okay. And Ariel, where are you
on? Don't know.
All right. Well,
Work stuff took over.
That's fine. We're not going to get to you in it today anyways, so you'll have a week to figure that out.
Fair enough.
We're going to start and probably end with Ghent. So, Ghent, you head down to the Temple District, looking for a finger of Marduk or something else, or something similar. For those who aren't familiar with the terminology, all clerics or priests or paladins of Marduk are called fingers of Marduk, because in Marduk, in those that follow Marduk, all are equal. All of his followers are equal in his eyes, the equivalent of one of his fingers. So thus,
not Rosaria vibes.
No. So thus, all of his followers are his fingers.
And considered being a finger of Marduk, but Marduk doesn't do this nearly enough for Ghent, so he decided not to.
You could have been the middle finger if you wanted to. That's
the middle finger of Marduk.
Those are typically paladins, but I mean,
right?
Good title.
They don't. Marduk doesn't really care which of his fingers you consider yourself as. You're all one of his fingers. You are all equally important.
So hard not to make jokes. So hard.
So Ghent, who missed his chance to get fingered, goes to the Temple District. And it's very easy to find any of the religious locations of Marduk. Because I joked they were fraternities, but that's not actually a joke. They are basically fraternities, where if there isn't drinking, there's partying, and if there isn't partying, there's drinking, and if there isn't both at the same time, you're doing it wrong. Because that's how Marduk be. Marduk is the god of adventuring and boastful, and like he is the god of boasting. He is the god where you go out on a great adventure, you kill a mighty dragon, and then you bring its skull back to the tavern and drink wine out of it. Like that's who Marduk is, and thus many of his followers are like that. So you basically look for the first bar fight, and you find it.
He's what happens when Bacchus and Thor end up in a fusion.
Kind of. So when you go looking for a bar fight, Gint, are you looking for the biggest person there or the smallest person there?
Halflings make the best paladins. Remember Urkima.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, that was completely irrelevant.
Actually, Gent is going to be looking for the person who's kind of watching the bar fight, but is obviously sitting back and not joining in until they think it's going to be worth their while, until it gets interesting.
Okay.
Also, the best fighter is Harry.
It's true.
So,
but probably cheating a little towards the smaller side, yes.
So, you find a bar brawl that has spilled out of a temple. Temples of Marduk tend to be like upturned boats that somebody just like sort of dragged onto the land and knocked a door into.
Turn a longboat into a longhouse.
Yeah. And there is currently a massive brawl going on in the temple district, and other people that aren't part of it sort of on the sidelines taking bets, buying food and drink. There's a barker there that's like got a large hat on and has like menu prices on it, has one of those trays that are held up by your neck, and it's like just selling food to passersby who are watching, because the whole thing is a festivity, you see.
Right.
And looking through that, you see one individual that catches your eye. Is a lizard folk, who's just sitting back on a broken bit of frame of the upturn of the temple. Like it looks like somebody got thrown out and made a hole, and he's just sort of sitting in the hole with a pint in one hand. With a pint in one hand and a leg of something in the other, just sort of drinking out the side of his mouth, because they've got the long alligator-like mouths.
Yep.
Just sitting there wearing what looks like a very well kept but brightly painted plate armor. Has this like it's painted in the colors of Marduk, which are red, blue, green, and gold, and not in any sort of uniform fashion. It's just sort of splashed across. Almost a tartan, but not quite in the way it's applied. Doesn't seem to be holding any kind of weapon at the moment. But you can't see his tail, so you don't know where
Fair enough.
With lizard folk, you always keep an eye on their tail. And he's just chilling back, watching. Very occasionally, someone will get too close, and one of his large clawed feet will just rise up, clamp down on a face, and push it away.
Going back into the melee.
Yeah. So that's the person that catches your attention at the moment. Right.
All right.
And as you start thinking about going over to like engage, someone out of nowhere just clocks you hard in the face as you are dragged into the melee. And that's where we're going to end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Gen's gonna get the shit kicked out of him.